West Coast game.
Late
West Coast match, yeah.
My only thought was if someone would stay open until the game's over, instead of closing at 1 o'clock. But if we do nothing, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
As long as we don't think we're gonna have a problem.
Waste of energy, I think.
Well, if we don't do anything, at least we know ahead of time what we are doing.
With that, we will not present any ordinance to you to modify it. We'll just keep it as is.
Building Maintenance Department, City Hall Council Chambers, FTU replacement.
Do you or Chad want to handle this? Which one?
Chad.
Good evening, council. This is to replace the 3 heating units that are in this room to bigger units. When we did the load capacity of this unit, the room, it's a little low. That's why it's colder. Usually in the wintertime, it's a little bit colder here. So this will be one thing to address. The other thing is we have to do some insulation, which is not on this, but it'll be coming up soon.
Didn't we do this once before?
You did the windows.
No, we did the windows. They
That's
did
helped. That
replace
helped.
some of the units about 5 years ago when we did that energy efficiency, but they didn't change. They just replaced the units with what the units were on the drawings. So we will be able to keep these units. They're still in working order. We'll keep them. We can reuse them somewhere else in the building if we have one that goes out.
I assume Power-wise direct replace. They say they
There's
don't-
one unit that we have to, we'll have to run new wire to, which is another, I think, $1,800 for them to do it, but the rest of the units can bolt right, they can be put right in place.
I just noticed their quote doesn't include it, so.
No,
Make
it
sure
was, we already addressed that.
that on the radar.
We had them, look at that. American Electric data will install that electric when we get closer to the point. This is bought on the TIPS, grant too, or cooperating purchasing,
So we're up in the KW is what we're doing?
7K units. All 3 of them will be 7K units.
Other questions or discussions?
Make a motion, send it on.
Second.
Motion by Holtmeyer, second by Sondertrup to send it on. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thanks, Chad.
Moving on.
Engineering Department, East Fifth Street roadway and ADA improvements project.
Good evening, council. This is our Fifth Street project. This is where the intersection project that's at 100 and Fifth Street leaves off near Willows Court and goes north to Old Highway 100, adding sidewalks there, restriping to add a center turn lane, redoing the asphalt. So this is our contract. We're proposing to work with Volkert Inc. We went through, did our scoring like we normally do for these projects, ranking them, staff individually ranks them based on 5 different criteria. We come together, pick the highest, scoring consultant and go with them. In this case, we actually had a consultant that was number 1. We negotiated with them. We couldn't come to any terms that, their prices were way over what was in our grant. So we were gonna have to pay quite a bit over, if we went with that first one. So we actually went with the second scoring, highest scoring team, which was Volkert, but we're definitely impressed with their qualifications. We had a lot of people submit for this project as well, so.
So doesn't go all the way to Highway 100?
No, so our first project is the intersection improvements. That's adding the dual left turn, adding a dedicated right turn lane.
That's a separate project.
That's a
and-
Will they happen at the same time?
No.
Technically, they're a year off. We could still try and see if there's a way to coordinate that and combine them, but technically, no, they're gonna be separate
Ain't
projects.
that big a deal.
Yeah. So this will just pick up where that one leaves off, adding the sidewalk and going north to Old Highway 100, so.
Okay.
When they do the sidewalk, it's the west side?
Sidewalk all the way on the west side, and then we are gonna add some on the east side, just where the new apartment complex on the north end of that going north. So just kinda give those people a path to.
The
cross-
trail.
Cross the street to the trail that's there by the old, South Point Elementary School. So.
On the second page, you guys, if you notice, the total project cost is 1.8. feds, if we get the grant, will be,
We did.
they'll pay, we did get that grant.
Yeah, this is,
already
this
there.
is to go into a contract with the consultant Volkert for engineering design and then construction inspection. So we got the grant, this is moving forward, and as soon as we
Is
have
that
this
an
approved,
80/20?
we'll do the
Yes.
design.
Another example of why we need to pass the transportation sales tax moving forward. So,
I'll make a motion to send it on.
Second?
motion by Bear, second by Sullentrup to send it on. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, say aye. I thought about giving more discussion, but I think it was over. Opposed? Motion passes.
Parks Department 2026 Laser Z X Series mower purchase.
Good evening, council. So all three pieces of equipment that we are presenting are all equipment replacements. The first being a Laser Series Caw mower. The current mower that we have right now is a 2017 Exmark mower. It's reached the end of its useful life. In operating hours and repairs, it does have a problem with the engine, has about 1,000 hours on it. So we are recommending that you consider a bid submitted by Heavy Duty Equipment in the amount of $20,915.97. We do have a $21,000 already budgeted for this mower replacement, and we will be purchasing it through Omnia Cooperative Purchasing Program. They do have it in stock. Also, we would like to sell our mower on Purple Wave. We feel like we'll get better financial benefit to that than trading it in with heavy-duty equipment.
What's with the tires?
Sorry?
What's with the tires?
They're run flat tires, they don't get flats, they're wider and they hang the hills better. The Traxxas tire, it's kinda has that, rubber mesh in the middle of the tires, so they don't run flat, or so you can't get flats.
Okay.
They're also wider tracks, so they hang the hills better.
I don't want to nitpick a lawnmower every time, but how many do we have? How many does the park department use?
We have probably, 7.
Okay, because we've already gotten one this year, and we got the big mower also this year. And then this is another one. So it kind of concerns me that 1,000 hours is not, we don't trade them in on 1,000 hours.
Typically, we do not do that. Usually, we like to get 1,500 hours out of them, but this with that Kawasaki or Kohler engine, they have not been very good engines. The new one will have a Kawasaki gas carbureted engine. That was the EFI Kohler engine. It's not as good as the new one, the old Kawasaki's that are, usually, like I said, we usually get 1,500 hours to 1,800 hours is when we like to trade them in.
Yeah, we use them at, 2,000, even 2,500, so I know there's some resale value, that's fine. Just 1,000 seem low, so that makes sense. I said this last time, and I don't want to nitpick again, but a striping kit, we don't do a good enough job of cutting straight lines in the Parks Department for a striping kit. If we do arcs in a ball field or whatever, or a hillside, you don't need the striping kit on there.
It's for when we mow the ball fields, that's what we have it for.
But we use the great big one to move the ball fields.
This is a backup, we do use it for that. It's just that, this is the way we've always accessorized them. If we need to change something, we can do that.
I guess I just think it's not necessary, because it doesn't, when you do a hillside somewhere, or we're not using the striping kit,
It's 704.
It's only $700, I get that, but we do it every time, it's on every one, we talk about it, but we add it on there again. And I wish I could have an air ride, I don't have an air ride seat on mine, I don't know if it makes that much difference or not, but I just gotta know what,
You're not on it all day long.
right, and that's why I asked, I don't know
It
what
does,
it's like.
actually does make a difference, especially with the many different riders that we have, that the seat adjusts a lot easier and quicker, and they are a better ride.
Other discussion or questions, Doug? Other discussions or questions? Chad or Lori?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Hopmeyer, second by motion by Sullentrup, second by Hopmeyer. Other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Your Honor, if I just may bring up, I should have said this before, but as we look into going out to bid again for what we pay for service-wise, if we look at what the cost of what our lawn, you know, I guess, come back with what that is. If we don't need 7 zero-turn mowers in the Parks Department, and we go out to bid for another park or 2 or whatever, and stop having $20,000 lawnmowers with engines going bad, it may be advantageous of us to have someone else hired out to do this, more than what we already do.
I believe that's going out for bid soon.
We are going back out to bid. We only have 2 zero-turn mowers. We have, with the wide area mowers, we have.
So we only have 2 like this?
Yes.
But we bought them both brand new this year.
No, one's a wide area mower that we're replacing.
We just bought one 3-4 months ago. We bought one for the airport and one for Parks Department in the same meeting.
No, that was last year. It was a replacement for last year. So that both mowers have been replaced. We didn't replace it this year. It was 2025.
Well, within the last year.
Yeah.
It wasn't technically this year, but it was within the
January,
last.
but it was
within the last year.
October.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, it was in like January last year when we bought that one. Wayne was still here when we bought that one.
We can get you a list.
Again, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to nitpick, but it's just, I know we bought one for the airport and we bought one for the Parks Department back to back. The same meeting, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't think it was that many months ago. And if we're buying 2 at the same time, it seems like we're,
It's replacing both of the ones that had the Kohler engines on them.
but those are the only 2 zero-turns we have at the Parks Department. So what's the other 7 you said, or you said we had 7?
Wide area mowers, we have.
12-foot cut.
4700
The
and
12-foot cut
4000
one.
D.
We just replaced one of those.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
4,000D.
Okay. But again, as we go out to bid on what we cut, that we have an idea what it costs.
We have a lot of alternates on the bid documents going out. So we can find out where some of these other areas.
Right. I mean, where do we haul this one to? And someone else can cut it for this price, I think. But anyway, thank you.
I agree. It'd be worth going out for a bid to find out what it would
Yeah,
cost
it's-
compared to what we're spending.
We're due anyway, because your bid with Clay Camp is up.
Yeah.
Right.
We just bid the cemetery and it went up 20,000.
What is that percentage?
Percentage increase, do you know, remember what that?
Out of 20.
More people are dying.
Well,
Be less grass you gotta cut.
That's crazy.
cemeteries are hard to cut. Nobody wants to cut them.
I think additional alternates to that bid process is what we're looking at. Then there'd be another park we could add to it or take away all that. That's what I'm saying. So that'd be great.
Any more discussion, guys? Let's move on, Sherry.
Fairground Arena and Motorsports bleachers replacement.
So same, there are 5 current bleachers at the Fairgrounds Arena and Motorsports. What our hope is that we will purchase 1 set of bleachers this year, and then we will purchase 3 sets of bleachers in the next few years. The current bleachers are 27, we have 5 sets of 27-foot bleachers. We would like to replace them with 4 36-foot bleachers in the next 4 years.
There's 36.
Sorry, I lied. We have 4 36-foot bleachers. We want to replace them with 5 27-foot bleachers. There are 2 of them there that we will move to the arena, so we will keep those throughout the years. So this year, we would just like to purchase 1 of those. It is in the general operating budget for the year. And the new bleachers will be ADA accessible, and they will also help us with the condition of what we have right now. A lot of the bleachers out there are rusted. They're deteriorating on the underside, and we just feel like this is the best case of action for us right now. We did also search interlocal contracts for this one as well, and Sourcewell has the most competitive pricing for us on this. We do have 25.5 budgeted for this. This bleacher is a little more than that. It's $33 and $5. But we did save some money with our purchases with the 4000D lawnmower and the compact wheel loader that we purchased. So we will stay under budget in this line.
You're gonna pick the worst one, I guess, and replace it.
Yeah.
Since this is at the fairgrounds, is there any, like, chamber participation in it, or is just all else?
We talked about this. You want to?
Yes, so not in this project, where we are working with them on some other projects that we're doing for some lock replacements, and, they put the lights in last year for the arena and stuff, so we didn't ask for their participation in this one.
Chad, are they gonna be mobile?
No, they'll be set in place. It'll replace the ones down in the motorsports. We're moving some from the concrete down below, so they don't actually move anyway. The mobile ones that we have park pockets and everything in, we don't need.
I know that we had lost a couple of bleachers in the last couple of years because of wind.
Yeah, so all the ones that were damaged in the wind are being repaired. The one at soccer field, we already repaired it, we bolted them down, and when we replace the ones up on the concrete, they'll actually get bolted down too,
It will be.
yeah.
So these are all mounted stationary bleachers, they're not mobile ones?
These are not
And
mobile
how many are we wanting to replace next year?
Well, they're just one per year for over the next 4 years,
5 total.
5 total, yeah. And it's the long red ones, I talked to Tom, the old foreman, trying to figure out a date, and he said they were here when he got here. So late 70s or so is when these bleachers were, and the understructure. We don't move these anymore because of how the understructure is. They're falling apart.
How many rows are those, the old ones?
5.
Oh, I thought those were a lot more, at the top of the,
No, not the ones, they're only 5 row.
Okay.
All the front ones are 5 row.
I'm kind of with Councilman Coulter, I know maybe the chamber's not, but is this one of those things where we would share with, the J.C.'s or the Lions, or that, that there would be this is one of those things where an actual item that someone may want to raise money for to purchase. Again, I'm not disagreeing that we don't need them, but it would just be one of those, situations.
So as the only thing I can tell you is just in discussions that I've had with JB about improvements out there at the parks or at the fairgrounds. You had the lights that Chad just mentioned. Those were identified in your capital improvement sales tax this last time, but if you'll remember, the chamber thought it was more worth it to go ahead and pitch in on the roof structure for the main stage than to go ahead and put in what we had set aside for the lights out there, as well as, and that's just at the motorsports arena, for the lights there as well as the restroom. So they asked the city to shift all that so that they could, we'd have more money, city funds available for that main roof structure. So they did go ahead and replace that, and they paid for those lights on their own. I don't remember what the amount was.
It was around 85,000 just for
So
the light.
they purchased those on their own, didn't ask the city for anything. The last thing that they've just recently this year asked, and Chad mentioned, was they'd like a lock system because there's so many keys that are out there at those fair buildings that they wanted to go ahead and put in a lock system very comparable to what we have here now at City Hall. And so their board recommended approval to go ahead and purchase those with the hopes that the city would go ahead and share 50/50 on those on the cost for those. And that would be, I told them we would look and see where we were at the end of this year's budget. If not, we would go ahead and propose to put it in the following year's budget, and we could reimburse them back in October. But they do want those in place. I can't think of any other, those are the main projects that I can think of, but like I said, they paid for all of the lights. And I get what you're saying with regards to the bleachers. I mean, you've got the fair out there and pretty much the 4th of July, and I don't know that any other times that those things get used. So, but with all of that being said, there was not a discussion with them to ask them to go ahead and share on this purchase.
And we also have information that what the chamber is putting back into the park after this year's fair, is that right? Do we know what
They've got some
It's a
plans,
lot.
I can go ahead and get you a more detailed report.
there's
Yeah.
more money out there?
Oh, yeah,
other than just the
absolutely.
blocks that they're putting in?
Absolutely. I do know that, like I said, they did not, according to your agreement that we've got with them, they did not exceed their net profit that they had this year, so there wasn't a check cut to us. That typically we would look for something in the fairgrounds or around the lake area to go ahead and put those improvements right back in. Like in the past, we replace the asphalt path over the dam out there on Lions Lake, replace that with concrete. We've done, trying to remember what else, we put the proceeds, we put some of it back into that overhead roof last, a year or two ago, stuff like that. But this year, you're not gonna receive a check based on the fact of what their profits were from the fair, so.
Gotcha. So,
But I can get you a list of future improvements of what they did, because I know, I've talked to JB, I just can't remember all that stuff off the top of my head.
They had quite a few of them planned for this year, but I
Yeah.
don't remember exact dollar amounts.
So I guess my other question is that we got this, I read this on Friday, and then we have the weekend to look into it. So we gotta be careful. It says in here that the Parks and Recreation Commission and staff recommend. It never went to Park Board.
It was never on, so I was gonna ask, because I know we, had this been discussed way back when possibly, that it was in some time ago, because I know the last park board meeting, we didn't talk about
I
it.
don't know if it was when we went through the budget process, I can't remember if it
It
did
might have
that.
been that, it was just.
And I talked to Tim this weekend about it, and just, if we would have that conversation, then maybe, to my point, maybe the J.C.'s are looking for a, hey, a place for a $5,000 donation, and then we have something physical, rather than just a check to not to know where to go to somebody. That was kind of my idea. You start with the chamber, you're thinking they're the ones that use it, but they give to everything else. So maybe there is another organization that would do that, if we would have more time for conversation, more time for that, to know what's coming up. And I guess Darren's gonna tell us, it was in your budget, you should have seen it.
Well,
But
no,
we don't get those
because
line
I don't
items
remember
through the
everything
budget.
that's in the budget, and I look over it all too,
Right.
so I understand that.
The other side of the coin is, we're gonna get a chance to do this 4 more times, so.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you got more times.
Maybe we'll-
And plus, I think
know,
with,
able
with
to do
the,
it
with
down
the
the
list that they've got out there, there may be other things that you can hit the J.C.'s up or any other organization up to see if there's more.
Right, this is just one of those instances.
Yep.
I'm sure that this price is not good for 5 years.
No.
No, the good thing is, it is through Sourcewell, so we should see, shouldn't have to go out to bid for it.
Have good pricing on it.
Should be a good price.
Well, I can say that I've been around out there probably a lot longer than Tom Eppel, doing what I do out there. And I see these guys out there all year long, seems like doing Band-Aiding all the bleachers up, trying to make them safe for the community. But, if we're gonna get them and they're gonna have handicap access bleachers, I think it's gonna entice more people to use motorsports.
Could be. With that, the lights, some other improvements, hopefully we do.
I mean, this year alone, they had that, what, mud run or whatever they had,
Monster trucks. and-
monster trucks, so people are hearing about it, so,
Right. And the lights do make a huge difference.
yeah.
They are, I know it's only a couple nights a week, the tractor pulls and things like that. I get hit up every time at the fair, the light bulbs are out. Now we've got the LED lights, really is lit up well. There's no doubt about that, so.
And we
maybe there is
continue to
another
make the
something.
place safer for other people for what they want to do too.
Right.
It would only take one accident.
Right.
And Darren,
To the
I,
point where some of the bleachers, sorry, Mark, the bleachers were dark when people would walk there, so it's definitely gotten better, so we're there.
and I agree with Jeff, if we could get a list of their improvements that they're planning throughout the year, then that kind of helps us out too, because I know we get feedback from people saying, well, why is everything getting, bought for the fair? When's the fair ever gonna buck up? Well, then we got a little bit of ammunition to say, hey, this is what they're doing out there.
I will ask JB and we'll get a list for you.
I'll make a motion.
Moving on.
Motion by Solentrop, second by Holtmeyer. Move it on, guys.
Can I ask one more comment before we vote? If the things are bad, and I know if we're doing one, do we not have it in the budget to do 2 or 3? I guess,
At least lock in a,
well, I know I'm trying to say we shouldn't have done it, and then I'm saying we need to do more, but I don't want
Well,
to
Jeff, I
contradict.
haven't looked at the budget to see if we can afford 66,000 more,
But
but I
if you
mean,
look at it though, in all honesty, are we really doing ourselves a favor by getting one if 5 sets are bad? We just got to look at the fact that,
And that line item, that's all we budgeted for.
I got you.
And you're budgeted for 5 years anyway, right?
Yeah, that's what we did. We just kind of try to keep within that means of the number that we use for equipment and stuff, trying to, it's kind of a game you gotta play to make sure we don't go, that we can afford everything.
right.
We're not gonna have a situation during the fair where somebody gets hurt on the bleachers and it's gonna come back to say, well, back in February, you said these things are deteriorating, so.
No, we make sure, we go through and we weld them up if we need to, and we make them so there is no issues with that.
And are we installing these, putting them together?
We'll put them together, yes.
Other questions or comments?
I think it's all part of that increased conversation, and then we would have that, then we'd know we were gonna put 3 in the budget instead of 1, or we were gonna find a way, so, thank you. Thanks, Your Honor.
Any more? Let's vote.
We already did.
All those in favor of sending this on to council, fairground arena and bleachers, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Croke Park Playground replacement?
So the Krog Park Playground has been around since 2007. It is also one of those playgrounds that we have in the city that is kind of past its useful life. We have been replacing pieces on it. It needs paint. It needs quite a bit. The structure's deteriorating, and it's probably one of our oldest playgrounds, if not the oldest playground that we have right now. But it's the one that we really do need to replace. In the half-cent sales tax, the current half-cent sales tax, we do have this budgeted for a new playground. It initially was in next year's budget. We had it moved to this year's budget. One of the things that we would like to do is start building this playground in March. Put up some signs that it is part of that sales tax, half-cent sales tax, and get that going. We were hoping to have that done probably by the end of April, if the weather cooperates with us.
Is it a safety issue? Is it a safety issue down there? I mean, with it being that old or getting old or,
Just getting to the point where we need to replace it like the other ones. that
okay.
we
Yeah, and parts are getting harder to replace and things like that on
It
it.
can be same size.
had. In similar size, it'd be real close.
Yeah, we have a photo we can pass around if you want to see that.
There should be one in your
Got one in
packet.
the packet.
There's one in the
Yeah.
packet.
They got one in their
There
packet.
is.
Okay, good. That one, we also found through Sourcewell purchasing programs, so one of those interlocal contracts. We do have 99.5 budgeted for that. If we purchase that through Sourcewell, our contract is for $90,621.
Have now.
And we will use that remaining money that is budgeted for surfacing, mulching, fencing, site construction, things like that. We will take that current playground down with our staff. And New Toys Leisure Products is the one that we have been working with on that quote.
Yeah, this says 40 by 75. I guess we won't have to do a whole lot of leveling or re-leveling or anything there.
Yeah, with that 75, we might move the swing set over. We looked at it again, with the big oak trees there. We might have to move the swing set off that, so it'd be, the main playground itself is like 40 by 40, and with that swing set, it adds that extra bit, so it might change a little bit from your drawings in there, but, we're replacing both units.
What kind of surface is gonna be?
Wood fiber, the mulch type.
Yay.
Mayor and the council get first shot at the slides.
Sure. It's gonna make that park look really good.
I'll make a motion and send it on.
Second.
Motion by Bear, second by Packey to send it on. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks, guys.
Passes.
Water wastewater department, chlorine analyzers purchase.
Good evening, council. As you know, since 2016, we've been adding chlorine into the system for disinfection mandated by the Department of Natural Resources. Our original analyzers, which is what analyzes how much chlorine that we're injecting into the system so that we can maintain legal limit requirements. They're all starting to fail out. They did a great job, but as they're getting older, they're failing out. So we went out and looked at some that are a little more user-friendly than what the current ones we have, and these hydro ones are very user-friendly. So we're requesting to move forward with purchasing those to continue doing what we're doing.
It gets injected into the water.
Chlorine does, yes. Yeah.
But this just measures the chlorine.
Yeah, we have a whole different system that injects the chlorine. This monitors it so we know how much we're injecting into the system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what this does. Otherwise, we'd have to have somebody there doing it manually all the time.
And every one of them's gotta be replaced?
Yes. We've already got 3 of them replaced that the others, as they were failing out, so we tried this hydro equipment out. I've experienced the Hawk equipment, which was other one I looked at. Same kind of principle, but just a lot harder to work with. And these hydros are working really good. Almost all my guys can understand how to program them. how to work with them, so that's a big thing, because you have such a multitude of employees trying to understand it, so.
So if we ever do get too much chlorine in the water, this will tell you that, and it actually cuts it back?
Well, this doesn't cut it back, but we watch it on our SCADA system too.
And we
We
can-
have alarms on it, so we know if we have too much. Usually we don't have enough is what the problem is. It's just the process. It's just
I wish,
constantly working on it.
0 would be perfect.
right, I have to ask this question, Kevin. What, are we stuck chlorinating is there another way, is there another system, chlorine in the water is obviously, nasty, I guess you could say, for lack of better terms, but is there any other way around it? And we're not putting too much in, you're saying we're not putting enough in, so.
No, I don't want to say we're not putting enough in, but disinfecting is a constant 24-hour battle. It's not like it says you turn a switch and it runs like that, so you're always working with it. So chlorine is the only way that we can disinfect the way our system is. There's other disinfection ideas out there. There's UV, there's all this other stuff, but because we have to keep a residual out in the system, chlorine is the only product that will keep a residual. Now, they make gas chlorine, we could gas chlorinate, but then that becomes a very dangerous situation for our wells, which are all in residential, so we will not gas chlorinate. We're going to continue liquid chlorinating, but, so that's the best way to do it for us.
Is chlorine the same thing as fluoride?
No,
No.
no. And we will not fluoride in Washington while I'm here.
So you're gonna replace 6, and you said you replaced 3 before
We
that?
have a total of 9 wells, and we've been systematically replacing them as the other ones have gone out, because we have to have something to watch them. So we tried them out, we wanted to make sure they were gonna work. They worked really good, and it's really easy to work with, so we're moving forward with the purchase of the rest of them.
Kevin, the budgeted amount is $103,000, and Hawkins is.
Well, that's a line item budget for other things of that nature, so this falls into that line item.
Oh,
Do we have enough in that line item for the
Yes.
other items?
Yes, these were actually budgeted in that line item
Okay.
for that, so.
Make a motion, send it on?
Second.
Motion by Holtmeyer, second by Coulter to send it on. Further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's passed.
Well, number 7, pumping equipment repairs.
So as you know, we have 9 wells, and we have to keep them all running. Well 7, the motor megged at 0. So the way the submersible wells work is you have your power going down to a submersible motor down at the bottom of the well. And Flint Drilling comes out every year, they inspect our wells, and they do what they call a meg on it. So they send down, I don't know how many joules of energy down to the bottom of the motor, and they found that the motor was megging, when they came in November and did the inspection, the motor megged at 125. Generally, they meg at 300. At 125, so they came back in January and tested it, and it went down to 0, meaning the motor was grounding out. So we had it pulled. When they pulled it, they also found 2 pieces of pipe that the threads were starting to deteriorate, and you don't want that to happen, because if you drop a well, you fish it, and then fishing it costs a whole lot more than replacing it. So we had to replace it, so just let you know that's what we're doing. As a matter of fact, it's already been replaced. Flynn Drilling, when I call Flynn Drilling and let them know we have a problem, they're here within 24 hours to evaluate the problem, and then they come back and fix it.
Kevin, which one's number 7? What location?
That's over by Rawlings,
Okay.
over on Westlink.
This has already been done, right?
Yes, it has already been done, yes. Yeah, wells, we can't really kind of sit back and wait for them. We gotta get it going. It's kind of important, so,
I think we told you a couple months ago that you have to keep the wells going, so
yeah.
you're safe to come, yeah,
Just like to let you guys know.
right. Motion to move it on.
Second.
Motion by Packey, second by Coulter to move it on. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Any other department heads have anything to talk about?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Bear, second by Pepsel to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Done for now.
It'd be pretty quick to make a motion.
So make Tony talk, but he adjourned before we could. We was gonna make you come up and talk about something, but Al said adjourn. Nope, too late now. Al said adjourn.
Going once, going twice.
Good evening, council. Just a heads up, we are out for bid right now to grind up our brush